This is a competitive world. We compete with each other. We compete with ourselves. Recognizing the problem is a huge part of fixing it. Stop trying to do too much. Stop spreading yourself so thin. I found myself writing this kind of thing down repeatedly on my morning pages. And it's a pretty strong signal that stands out on the page and in the mind. Is this something you do? Put too much pressure on yourself? When things like that appear repeatedly on the page, it's important to take note. It took a long time for me to take note, and even longer to act. And when I did begin to act, it wasn't easy. This overloading business was habitual. I put so much on my plate, then faced self-imposed pressure. Unnecessary self-imposed pressure. Stress and pressure are not good for our well-being. So why do we do this? For myself, there are several reasons. There's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot that I'm enthusiastic about. There are things I want to achieve. I'm anxious about the future. And it's just the way I'm wired. All of these things are interconnected. I think the main factor is recognition that to get where I want to be, there's a lot that I need to do. But here's the really important thing to recognise. There will always be a lot to do. As Oliver Burkeman discusses in his book 4,000 Weeks, there's always going to be lots of stuff. And my analogy is that the washing basket is never empty. Well, maybe sometimes for a few minutes until someone throws in another pair of sweaty socks. It's also important to recognise the effects of overloading. If we say we're going to do 12 time-intensive tasks in an 8-hour day, it's not going to work. Enthusiasm and determination are good things. They're attributes that help us to achieve. And we might want to do all those things because of our enthusiasm and need and the anxiety about the future. But it's just not realistic. And because of negativity bias, we tend to focus on what we haven't achieved rather than what we have. If we set ourselves unrealistic goals, the things we haven't done will dominate regardless. We're not going to congratulate ourselves for the things we have completed. And the result will be a consistent feeling of negativity. I even tried time blocking, like that Cal Newport says. But even then I'd try and cram huge amounts into every hour of every day. There'd be no slack, no room for manoeuvre, no wiggle room. So we've recognised that we take on too much, place too much pressure on ourselves. What do? For myself, I'm finally making an effort to strip things back. What I do now is write down 3 things that I want to do for each day. I tend to go with 3 things I'd like to move forward. And let's not kid ourselves about multitasking. Technology encourages the multitasking illusion. But what we're actually doing when we're multitasking is micro-switching. Our addiction to technology seems to validate the perception that this is something that we should do and that it's good for us. That multitasking is laudable and productive. Is it? When switching from one task to another, it can take up to 20 minutes to get back up to speed. And if we're micro-switching more often than that, then we're never up to speed. But this is a competitive world. We compete with each other. We compete with ourselves. We compete with what we perceive to be other people's perception of us. So having noticed that I'd consistently overload myself, I highlighted a few things. Quality over quantity. Less but better. Be consistent. Don't beat yourself up. Looking at this list, my cynical English knee-jerk reaction is that there are a whole lot of woo-woo from internet productivity gurus. But they are all relevant. Let's break them down. Quality over quantity and less but better are very similar. They're all about choosing. Choosing what's important to us. Choosing the things that really help us move towards our long-term goals. Which is why it's important to write down those long-term goals. Be consistent. Say you're writing something of length. Just turn up at the page every day and write. Write for a set period or until you've reached a target word count. Then stop. You've done your bit. You've made some progress. So don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up for not doing more. Because you've done what you set out to do. When I had novels published, that wasn't something that I did overnight. It didn't take a year to write that first novel. It took 10 years of knowing what I wanted and working towards it. 10 years of writing and rewriting, trying stuff out. But most of all, being consistent. Focusing more intently on fewer things will mean greater results, because we can put more into doing each of those things. We'll be able to give them more energy. Our focus will be more precise. Working on 10 articles at the same time might feel very productive, but it actually means those articles will take longer because we're giving each of them less time. Focus on 1 or 2 and you'll make faster, better progress on each one. Then you'll feel more reward and greater satisfaction. Stop trying to do too much. Stop spreading yourself too thin. Do these resonate with you? The good news is that if the answer is yes, then you're halfway there. Recognizing the problem is a huge part of fixing it. So identify and prioritize. Then it's a case of quality over quantity, being consistent and not beating yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. There is only so much we can do. Have you learned anything about yourself from writing morning pages? Let me know in the comments. Now, looking at this little list, my cynical English knee-jerk reaction is that there are a whole lot of woo-woo from internet. Choosing the things that really help. No wiggle room. And who doesn't like wiggling? If you've enjoyed this video, clicking the like button helps other people find it too. And do consider subscribing for more videos on similar subjects coming soon.